As a neuroscientist, what fascinates me are the parallels between the developing brain and the aging brain. So just as you're born with all your brain cells, but the connections grow as your brain grows, so sadly with dementia, and I should stress this is not a natural consequence of aging, but happens increasingly as people are older and among a large proportion of people. So those same connections atrophy, so they are dismantled. If you like, therefore, this personalization of the brain through these very special connections that in turn are the result of your individual experiences, if they become dismantled, then you regress back to being like a small child again. So you're born into this booming, buzzing confusion, and you evaluate the world in terms of sensations, and then they coalesce together finally to be your mother's face. Yeah? If those things gradually get dismantled, sadly, you no longer, in the end, recognize people, even those who trigger lots of connections, who meant a lot to you. So what fascinates me is how we can keep those connections working. Now, in my own laboratory, what we're trying to do is look at the neurochemistry, the molecular and cellular basis of this, as are many, many people in the world. And we hope that this eventually could lead to appropriate drug targets for alleviating neurodegeneration. But until that moment comes, what we're trying to explore, rather like we would with the developing brain, is how can we so manipulate the environment to allow these connections to prosper so that they're as strong as possible. And I've recently endorsed a product, as I thought was very appropriate, called MindFit. And MindFit is a special software program for the so-called worried well. That's to say people without Alzheimer's, but people who are over 50. Depressing thought, given I'm over 50. But people who are over 50 who feel that they are losing their edge, who are not quite remembering as they were once, and so on. So this program is for them. And the reason I endorsed it, unlike other competing programs, is that this one has been properly trialed against ordinary computer games. So what impressed me was there were two groups of 50 people, all of them the same age. Half of them played Tetris and other standard computer games. The others did this program 3 times a week for 20 minutes, and everyone improved, but the people doing MindFit significantly improved above the ordinary computer group. So that's the kind of work that I think we can start to look at and start to encourage. 20 minutes, I mean, you do that exercising 3 times a week, 20 minutes. So it's not a big deal. It's like cleaning your teeth. It's part of body maintenance. It's not going to change your life. But if it can enhance your memory, your attention span, your cognitive skills, then surely you owe it to yourself to do those things, like you owe it to your body to stay fit. In a way, if you think about it, your brain is like your body, and you use it or you lose it. And just as you have to exercise, and if you don't, then your muscles atrophy, so it is with your brain connections. And part of the problem I fear in current society is in our Western society, older people living alone, not in communities. If you're not stimulating or interacting, anyone would therefore atrophy. And I think it's very important that we think very much about the quality of life for older people, ensuring they have interactive and stimulating environments. One very interesting idea is that if I had to sum up my credo for my own research through to my recipes for society, it would be all about connections. Because for me, connections are crucial. Certainly at the neuronal level, understanding is seeing one thing in terms of something else and making the right connections. And certainly when I was thinker in residence, part of what I didn't think I had any really original insights that no one else could have had, but because of my position as an outsider, not biased by any one sector, I could introduce one sector to another and introduce and connect them up with each other, most particularly the scientists with the politicians. And that was very interesting because the politicians saying, oh, well, we can't get to talk to the scientists, don't understand what they say, and so on. And the scientists saying, oh, you get to talk to the premier? No. And to actually, this very simple idea, therefore, of getting people to talk to each other more. And again, the media with the scientists. So certainly making connections, I would like that on my gravestone. I think that would be a very nice epitaph. Yeah. There's a phrase in England, I don't know if you have it here in Australia, called joined up thinking. And it's something our government has adopted as a buzzword. I've yet to see it happen, but it sounds good. Yeah? And I'm not sure if the same is happening in Australia, this joined up thinking. But a little bit like joined up writing, it's essential. You can't have elements each doing their own thing. You have to see the whole. And that is the issue, and it is intellectually challenging to see broader context, to see bigger pictures, and to see the wood for the trees. And although it seems an obvious thing that one wants to do, the actual implementation of that and training people to step back and put things into a context and to really say, what does this mean? It's quite hard, especially for scientists, because they focus on a very, very specific area that they work on, and they become obsessive and passionate about one particular phenomenon, one particular finding. And to ask them to put that into a context sometimes is quite a challenging exercise for them.